New Hampshire is basically first in the country on a lot of different things. In this particular case, officially launching the first Bitcoin bond. That is humongous. And I've got a couple of pieces of information to go through with regard to this. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's start with going through the outline that Eleanor Tourette did. Basically, this is her overview of that. I'll read through it really quick, give you the highlights. New Hampshire just became the first state to approve a municipal bond backed by Bitcoin, a milestone that could pave the way for digital assets to enter this particular market, right? On Monday, the state's business finance agency, the BFA, which you're going to hear more about in the next piece I've got to talk about here, or that they're going to talk about, approved its first of a kind $100 million Bitcoin-backed conduit bond, letting companies borrow against an over-collateralized Bitcoin, which is obviously being held by a private custodian. I'm pretty sure it's BitGo in this case. While the BFA is a state entity, the bond itself isn't backed by the state or the taxpayers. Instead, the BFA acts as a conduit, approving and overseeing the deal without taking on any repayment risk, which it sounds quite interesting. So you kind of get the basics of what they got going there. Again, they literally talked about this. And
I'm squirming in my seat because I want to spill some beans. Go for it. I think this is probably a good place to do it. So we got attention on the state about Bitcoin being the first. And so a bunch of these big digital asset companies have been coming to our state and meeting with the treasurer and the governor's office and so forth. Well, there's an idea that's working its way. I've asked permission to talk about this with the people involved, and they said, sure, tell everybody. But I don't want to jinx it too much, right? So,
well, he didn't jinx it, obviously.
We're working on right now. There's a law firm in Concord working on this on behalf of CleanSpark, which is a big Bitcoin mining company, Wave Digital Assets, Anchorage, which is the first digital native bank federally chartered. And our state has this, it's called the Business Finance Department. It's a creation of the state government, but it operates independently. And its job is to finance businesses in the state of New Hampshire in a revenue neutral way. And so the idea is the BFA can issue something called a conduit bond. And I won't get into all the the inner workings of it, but it's basically a bond backed by Bitcoin that a large insurance company would buy, like $100 million bond for the first one. But the BFA is working on making this a machine. They're going to issue these for all the miners. It'll be the first state-sanctioned Bitcoin-backed bond. And the miners are sitting on all this Bitcoin that they don't want to sell and trigger a tax event, or they want to financialize it. So it's a perfect opportunity. The state would get some reputational risk if things went south. That's really the big downside. But it would get a portion of the upside. And it goes to the BFA, not the general court. So it goes to the BFA. They're going to use it to fund a new industry in the state. And the director of the BFA, James Keywallace is his name, his idea is, well, let's keep half of the proceeds in Bitcoin and have the very first Bitcoin loanable funds through the Business Finance Authority so that we can encourage that crypto industry in the state. So fingers crossed, keep it kind of under your hat, but that would be a big deal.
Keep it kind of under your hat. I love that he said that, but then here we are, we're talking about it because it's already gone. It's gone live. A couple of things I like about that is no direct control by the state per se. This is an independent BFA, I guess, kind of an independent agency with regard to that. I do like the fact that they're going to keep half of what they got going on there in Bitcoin. I think that's a plus. And they're going to then use it also thinking Bitcoin-backed loans coming up in the future outside of that, it sounds like. So BC, any thoughts about that whole process? By all means, put in your 2 cents there.
I mean, honestly, it's a better way to do it than being like, hey, loan us some money and we'll pay you back in a depreciating asset.
Yeah, right.
So
right. Yep.
At least they've got like a decent business plan. And I mean, there is less risk, like he said. So, I mean, it's a smart way to do it. We'll see how well it goes. Because, I don't know, I think the sailor strategy and things like that have kind of muddied the waters when it comes to like people talking about buying Bitcoin and having it as like an asset and using it to back things. And just with the current way that it's been done has kind of muddied the waters for other people to really do it.
But I spent a little bit more time on this because I really do believe that if we can influence our local area, we can influence the state, and then we can influence the national arena. But it has to be taken in that grassroots effort, if you ask me, for a lot of things with regard to politics. And I love automatic beats about the pumpkins. Listen, those were amazing pumpkins, first off. And the hosts were at the end of the conference were like, man, we can't take all these pumpkins home. So they were literally giving them out free to people. So some of us got to take home some pumpkins. I'm just saying.